So, Credo's having their friends and family sale. Everything is 20% off site-wide. And I wanted to share with you guys what I would personally pick up. So all of my recommendations, a lot of like holy grail items that I've loved for a very long time, but also some more like indie brands. I really like Credo because I really like their selection of brands. I think there's a good mix. Unfortunately, though, the sale kind of is like a short window, so I'm going to leave the dates right here. Hopefully you're seeing this while the sale is still going on, but these are my top recommendations for you guys. I'm not going to waste any time here. I'm first going to start off by saying like this is a new holy grail item for me, and again, it's 20% off. Everything in the video is going to be, so I'm not going to keep saying that, but the new serum concealer from Tower 28 is one of the absolute best concealers I've ever used in my life. It is more of a thin texture that goes over the under eyes really smoothly. It doesn't exaggerate any deep-settedness or hollowness, which is something that is so important to me. It also doesn't crease super readily the way a lot of hydrating concealers do. And our eyes are very mobile. A little bit of creasing will probably eventually happen with a concealer, but this one is pretty crease resistant without even setting it with a powder. And I've found that I really love to use it like all over the face too to conceal blemishes. I think it just works really well in that way. So this is definitely like a top of the list recommendation for the sale. I think it's seriously one of the best concealers on the market. I'm gonna kind of move around a little bit with my recommendations just to kind of keep you guys on your toes. But another brand that I always recommend when I talk about the friends and family sale at Credo is Rituel de Fille. So you can see this is their new packaging for some of their eyeshadows. This is the old packaging. The Ash and Ember Eye Soots. By the way, this is the shade I have on today. It's Mineralia. It's all over my eyes. The green is this. I'll talk about the green in a second, but like brown kind of sooty pigment on my eyes is the Ash and Ember Eye Soots. Essentially, it is more of a pigment sooty texture mixed in with an oil. So what happens on the eyes is it kind of melts in and creates this really undone effect. The shades within this line are so perfect for this time of year. I mean, I wear them all year round, but Half Light is one of these like taupey shades that I've used for literally years. It's a perfect one and done out the door shade. Love Spell is another absolute favorite. There's truly a shade for everyone, and I feel like every shade has these little bits of nuance that make them so different than a lot of the other eyeshadows in my collection. I would say if you are interested in trying a new texture, this kind of powder with kind of a creaminess once it's on the eyes kind of texture, these are very interesting, so fun to play with, and a recommendation I've probably been talking about, one of the longest running recommendations on my channel, really. But they also have their Celestial Sphere glazes, or jellies, I guess they call them. And essentially, this is an eyeshadow, like a cream eyeshadow mixed with a gloss. The texture is freaking insane. It really does have kind of like a gelée kind of formula. And I put it all in this area of my eyes. It immediately transforms a look. This is the shade Serpens, and it is one of those products that you guys always come back and ask me about. You ask me about how to use it in a look, and this is how I would use it in a look. I love doing a little bit of structure to an eye look and then adding this as that kind of transformative product. Andromeda is also a really beautiful shade if you want to go with something a little bit more cool toned. This kind of green gold, I think, is so perfect for this time of year, like fall going into winter. They're absolutely beautiful. And I think the most wearable way to kind of play with an eye gloss, not that this is an eye gloss, but it really creates that wet, glossy effect on the eyes. If you love these kind of undone, grungy, smoky kind of looks, Ritual de Fille is definitely where I would lead you. Either the Ash and Ember Eye Soots or the Celestial Spheres. They're both absolutely beautiful. I guess I'm gonna start talking about like a bunch of the stuff that's on my face. The lip color that I'm wearing is one of the lip oils from Exa. This is the shade Seeker. The reason I wanted to call out this shade in specific, they have a lot of really pretty ones, is that I have personally found, in the fall and winter, I think some of you might be able to relate. I don't want to go for like a super, super glossy look sometimes. And a lip oil like this kind of gives you this sheer kind of plummy effect with a little bit of hydration, but it kind of sinks into the lips pretty readily. It's not a really enveloping lip oil. If you want something more enveloping, I'll share one with you in a second, but I do find that if I don't want like a lot of glossiness, this is something that I've been reaching for. But if you want something a little bit thicker, more gloss, as opposed to the Exa, I would say the Rowan liquid lip balms are also a formula that I've been recommending for literally years on my channel. This is the shade Scout. It actually is, again, like more of like a plum shade. And you can see the difference like immediately with the textures. This has more pigment and it almost has this kind of balmy kind of stained glass effect. You can see like the difference on the lips. I'm gonna kind of mix them though, just so I don't look weird in this video, but the Rowan liquid lip balms, as far as a colored liquid lip balm goes, longest favorites. I've just loved it for a really long time. What am I saying? If you want something a little bit more juicy, the M Beauty lip glazes are also beautiful. This is a great like candy apple red kind of shade that is really pretty for the fall. And these are gonna be a little bit more tacky on the lips, but also provide that really nice water droplet effect. This is closest to a lip oil lip gloss. And then the Rowan liquid lip balms are kind of like the balminess in the middle, and then the thinnest is the Exa. So hopefully that's helpful. Talk about some cheek products really fast. Kier Weiss is at Credo. This is my little Kier Weiss palette that I have of some of the products. I am gonna go ahead and call out one shade that I've been loving since I picked it up, which is Abundance. If you see that kind of like cooler toned shape that I have going on my cheeks, it is this shade. It's one of these, one of these shades that doesn't look like much in the pan, and then it kind of transforms on my skin, especially if you have more fair skin, and you find that contouring it makes your skin look sallow, or you just find it to be a little bit more unnatural for you. Highly, highly recommend checking out this shade. I think it's so perfect for this time of year. It creates this really beautiful, elegant shape. And I also find, during the fall and the winter, I'm going for these more structured looks. And this is a way to bring more structure to my look while it also being super natural. But the Kier Weiss formula in general is really creamy and easy to blend, but it kind of, it sets down. It's not like a super, super emollient, super jelly kind of creamy texture. It has a little bit more of a satin finish to it. I really don't think you can go wrong with them. They are such beautiful textures. Kier Weiss is the Kier Weiss cream blushes are definitely ones that I've recommended for a long time on my channel. And the shades are incredibly unique and on point. For foundation, the foundation on my face is from Kosas, the Kosas Revealer Foundation. And I'm just going to throw in, of course, they also have the Kosas Revealer Concealer, which is a longtime holy grail of mine as well. If you want something that is good for under the eyes and you also have hollowness, I would say this is a little bit more of a natural finish. The Kosas is a touch thicker and more of a dewy finish. Both are beautiful. Seriously, both are beautiful. And would recommend either till the cows come home. But the Revealer Foundation is always one that I love revisiting because it's a nice high performance foundation, but it also has like hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, squalane peptides. Like my skin always feels really good when I have this on, but it's also just in general a beautiful product to look at when it's on the skin. And that's what I really like about Kosas. I think they create products with benefits to them that like still perform well. And sometimes, that's not always the case. Dewy to natural finish. I'm not wearing any powders, so you can kind of see like the true finish of the product on my dry skin. Great, beautiful medium coverage, very softening on the skin. Just overall for an everyday foundation, a definite winner. But you could also go with something like the Tower 28 Sunny Days if you'd like. This is a great, like, squirt it in your hands, apply all over the face, and then get like a decent amount of coverage that looks really pretty. I always go back to the Tower 28 Sunny Days. I just find that for that everyday quick get out the door kind of product with a little bit of sunscreen to it. Obviously, this is SPF 30 mineral sunscreen, by the way. By the way, if you are using this for SPF protection, make sure you're using enough. But I will say, as just like a foundation tinted moisturizer kind of product, this is accepted by the National Eczema Association. So if you have very, very sensitive skin and you're worried about makeup breaking you out or irritating your skin, I would highly recommend this product to you. It looks beautiful. Now, I was just sent this from RMS. It's one of the eye lights in Spark. Admittedly, oh my God. Do you guys see this right now? It just like a bunch just started coming out without me doing anything. So that is great that that happened on camera, so you guys saw that. Admittedly, I haven't tried this enough to like really give you guys a full review. I've only worn it once, but I will say this is pretty long wearing for like a liquid shadow. This is the shade Spark. I don't know if I've said that yet. I'm kind of interested in, like, on my wish list, I kind of want to add some other shades. This is a really pretty shade and I think really beautiful for green eyes in specific. But I'm interested in seeing what some of the other shades are like. It's more of a luminous kind of finish. But look, I mean, it like, you see that? Like, it sets down. And I am interested in trying it out, especially for, you know, the folks out there with more oily eyelids. I want to see if this lasts really well for you all. So I did want to just quickly throw out that RMS is on the site as well, and that I'm trying this out, and we'll have to see. I mean, look at that. That's pretty impressive in my opinion. In fact, I need to go actually wash my hands and then I'll be right back. But you know what I'll say about removing that swatch from my hand is that even though it was like really resistant to smudging on my hand, came off super easily just with water. So I think that's a good sign. Let's talk about the Rowan 52 degree palette, because this is a pretty insane palette for this time of year. It is one of the best cool tone palettes that I own. I would love to do a video on cool tone makeup. Would you guys like to see that? Like my favorite cool toned eyeshadow palettes, lip products, blushes, like in general, do you want to see that? I love the textures of the Rowan cream eyeshadows. I love this color story, of course, but you can actually get a lot of different looks just with 4 colors. And because the textures are so different, like this is a very creamy base kind of texture, but you have this shade down here that is a little bit more flecked and really creates a lot of dimension and sparkle on the eyes. This taupe brown, one of the most beautiful eyeshadows that I own, period. I mean, look at that. It is so insanely beautiful. Has these really pretty, like, now I have eyeshadow all over my hand, but they have these really kind of pretty, sparkly, kind of scattered twinkle effect glitters within that shade. I'm such a big fan of the 52 degree palette in specific. They have a lot of the palettes though. My other top pick is the 1111. The 1111 is my absolute favorite from Rowan, but I think this one's really good for this time of year. But honestly, the 1111 palette, I think, creates some of the most beautiful eye looks that I've ever worn. And I get compliments on my eye looks almost every time I wear the 1111 palette. So it is absolutely a top favorite for me as well. If you're really into colors, like these kind of beautiful pastels, also they have some more neutral shades as well, but I highly recommend the Mob Beauty Cream Clay Shadows. Mob Beauty is such an underrated brand. They all come like separately, like you can get a compact or you can just get the shades individually. They have this beautiful kind of clay texture to them. When you swipe them onto the eyes, you get great immediate pigment. They blend out so beautifully, and I just find they're really fun to play with, to use as a base for eye looks, but also just in general as like one and dones too. Picked up these 2 shades in specific. It's M83, which is the purple, and then the green is 85. But look at what happens when you mix them together. You have like the beautiful green, and then you have the purple, but look, when you mix them, you also get this like insane beautiful robin egg blue. So you can kind of mix and match and create like a mini color story just with two shades, work into each other and blend so beautifully. A really nice formula from Mod Beauty. Let's talk a little bit of fragrance before I talk about some like more holy grails. Actually, this is a holy grail too. So. Dead Cool Taunt is one of my most used fragrances of all time. I also love Dead Cool Milk. Milk is good for like layering. It's called a layering fragrance, and truly it is just kind of like a milky kind of creamy scent that just brings out a creamy note in whatever fragrance you have going. But I also like wearing it alone. Like when I wear it alone, it kind of just smells like me, but like a little bit, I don't know, creamier. I feel like it's me with a little bit of like that pheromone something. Like it kind of brings out the scent of my skin when I'm wearing this just alone. But Dead Cool Taunt is just like the perfect, oh my gosh, it's like the perfect amber musk blend. It's not overly amber, like right in your face, but it's not too musky that it's a little bit too dank, I guess. Like the mix of it, it's sweet, it's very sexy, but it's also undone enough that it doesn't feel like a really put together fragrance. I like it because it's one of those fragrances where you're like, you smell good, not what are you wearing kind of thing. So Dead Cool Taunt and Milk are both two fragrances that are very much in that line. And I always go back to them. I really, really love them. Let's talk mascara. I'm wearing the Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. It's a holy grail. Since I purchased the first one, it's almost like nearly 65 to 75% of the time I'm wearing mascara, it's this mascara. So if you're a fan of a really like lifted, long-lasting, volumized, but also separated kind of lash look, like if you like the way these lashes look, it's the Make Waves. And in most of my videos, I'm wearing Make Waves. So absolutely beautiful. I love how buildable it is, and it's easy to control. So I'm such a huge fan of that one. But if you want even more volume, if you like a thicker lash, the new Rituel de Fille Levitation Lash is also really beautiful. If you're a fan of like the Too Faced Better Than Sex, but you want it a little bit less clumpy and a little bit more lengthened, this kind of reminds me of that look. It also is similar to like the Rowan Cake Mascara. Just a very like angel volumized kind of bedroom eye lash look. Really, really beautiful mascara from Rituel de Fille. And I have to say, like most mascaras I try, I'm just like, whatever. I think it says a lot that this one has caught my attention. Another new favorite, also from Rituel de Fille, are the Thornbite Peptide Cream Lip Oils. These are so cool because they're kind of like a liquid lip, like not the transfer proof ones, but like a true liquid lipstick formula mixed with a lip oil. So they have this kind of like creaminess to them, but they also have this kind of unctuousness that a lip oil might give you. What shade is this? This is Rose Bloom. And like I love that it gives so much pigment while feeling so lovely on the lips. You can kind of like blot it in as well. And they're just so beautiful. I love using like the clear one. This is just like Rose Dew. I love using this to prep my lips as well. They're just really pretty. They feel beautiful on the lips. It's nice like glass packaging. So it's, you know, not great for like a purse kind of product, but I find that they're really nice as like a luxury creamy kind of lip oil. But if you want to go for more of like a classic lipstick, like blotted lipstick kind of look, the Enchanted Lip Sheers are also really stunning. I've loved them for a long time. The shade Rue is beautiful. I also love the shade White Thorn. They're a great everyday lipstick formula. They're a little bit stiffer, but they last really well on the lips. And I love that the applicator is a little bit smaller. I can be more precise with it. And lastly, my last recommendation and then some wish list items are the Color Nectar Pigment Balms from Rituel de Fille. I've used these for literally so long. I'm gonna add a little bit of bee sting on the cheeks. It's just perfect if you are a fan of that more just like emitted through the skin blush look. Because they're so thin, you can't really see where they start and stop, but they add this beautiful, beautiful color. Such a thin, almost I feel like it's like a cheek stain in a balm formula. They're not sticky whatsoever. I mean, look at that. Do you like see that color that this just added? I am such a big fan of these. Super, super underrated product from Rituel de Fille, and they last really well too. And the colors are gorgeous. Again, Rituel de Fille does a great job with their shade selections. Let's talk about just a couple of wish list items. I really want to try out this Henry Rose sample set of fragrances. I'm surprised I haven't already. I've just heard so many good things about Henry and Rose fragrances. So I would like to try out this sample set. I would also love to try out the SOS Barrier Cream from Tower 28. I do like their SOS spray serum as well. That one's really good, but I do think you can dupe it for a bit cheaper. I think the barrier cream could be a really good pickup, especially going into winter. I would love to try out this ingrown hair deodorant from Fur. I get bumps on my underarms and it's just so freaking annoying. I can't even really tell when it's gonna happen sometimes. Like sometimes it's fine, other times it's not fine. And I would love to be able to use this every day and it kind of like keep everything in check while also being something that's already incorporated into my routine. This is definitely something that I'm going to be picking up. I think it's a great idea in general. I'm really, really excited to pick that one up. I'd also really love to try some more neutral shades of the Mob Beauty Cream Clays. I have a couple in mind. I just really love the formula. Might pick up another Tower 28 concealer because I've just been using it so much and I'm running through it. Same thing goes with the Make Waves mascara. And like I mentioned before, I do want to try out another shade of the RMS eyelights, maybe something a little bit later, though I do think this shade is really pretty. But if you have tried these, let me know what shade you think I might enjoy. So I will leave a link to the sale down below. Again, 20% off everything I talked about in the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this recommendations video. If you found all of the demos helpful, please do me a favor and let me know down below or give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me know that that is appreciated. It takes a lot of extra time. And as always, thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you all in my next one.